coming together in Lackawanna County. With your host, Patty Lawler, let's take a look into the many wonderful things found and experienced in our communities, whether they be small, medium, or large, that comprise Lackawanna County. We'll visit with the butcher, the baker, and maybe even the candlestick maker to give you a view of what makes your community come together and work. From grocery shopping to spending time in your local park, there is always a group of folks making it happen for the greater good of the community. From the young to the old and everyone in between, all have a part to play in enriching the lives of you, your family, and your friends. Join us as we look into our county's diverse neighborhoods and communities on Coming Together in Lackawanna County with your host, Patty Lawler.
Little acts of kindness, they're happening every day in Lackawanna County. Even throughout our neighborhoods, throughout the county, we've got lots of interesting people, good people, hardworking people with stories to tell, and we're only happy to share them. Now, my first guest, a familiar face for sure, Joe Fasula, co-owner of Gerrity's and Gerrity's Ace Hardware. So thank you so much for coming. Who knows better about coming together in Lackawanna County than Joe Fasula? How many stores do you have and their locations in Lackawanna County?
In Lackawanna County, we have 5 supermarkets and we have 4 Ace Hardware stores.
Wow. Congratulations are in order. You opened a new Ace Hardware.
We did. Our 5th one just opened in Carbondale last week.
Is it hard to open a store?
Well, it's a lot of work.
Okay.
It's a lot of work. On the supermarket side, we haven't opened a supermarket actually from scratch in probably 20 years.
Yes.
On the hardware side, we've opened up 5 in the last 4 years. So
yes.
we've kind of gotten into a groove on that.
Great.
Still a lot of work, but it's getting easier.
Yes. You're aware that the different clientele or maybe one product sells better in another store than, let's see, you're up in Clark Summit and you're down at Kaiser Valley.
Yeah, just in the different sections of Scranton. We have 3 stores right in Scranton, right. Kaiser Avenue, Meadow Avenue, and South Main.
Yes.
And different product assortments sell differently in all 3 of those stores.
Is that true?
Oh, yeah.
Can you take us to the very beginning, the first store, and where it was? And
Sure. So to get to the first store, the original store was a small butcher shop on Railroad Avenue in West Scranton in 1895.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was opened up by a guy named William Gerrity, and he passed it to his son Joe Gerrity.
Okay.
And then Joe Gerrity never had any children, but he hired my father, Neil Fasula,
wow.
when my dad was 14.
Yes.
And Joe and my dad became very close over the years and eventually became partners. And eventually when Joe retired, he sold his half of the business to my father. And it's been in my family ever since. That was 1980.
Wow. What Mr. Gerrity must have thought and held your father in such high regard to...
They were very close. My father's father passed away pretty young.
Yes.
So my dad lost his dad when he was 21.
Wow.
Again, Joe never had any children, so he was a father figure. And both of my grandfathers and Joe Gerrity were all Joe. So I satisfied a lot of requirements with my name.
Yes, for sure.
So they all got credit for my name,
yes.
Including Joe Gerrity, of course.
Of course.
Yep.
Your dad, I was alive, of course, when he had passed, so it was sudden, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 1997, and he went in for a surgery, and he got a pulmonary embolism after the surgery, and he died.
And it was big news in the community throughout Lackawanna County, and honestly, I never heard a bad word about him. They would use, phrases like he was generous, he was kind, he was good to everyone, he was well met, he was very, very generous to people in need. And when I'm saying this, I'm also thinking of your mother. The Society of Irish Women honored her, and the same gifts or characteristics that your dad had, they honored her. It was like ditto for for how she's continued the tradition.
Well, I'm very fortunate. I have two great parents, and
Yes.
you know, my father. I try to live up to you know, what he was and who he was every day of my life.
They both must be so proud of you. You and your mom kind of co-chair or co-owner this.
My mother, she's the president. She's the
Yes.
president and CEO of Gerrity's.
Yes.
You know, she's mostly retired at this point. She's 76 years old.
Wow.
But she still stops in the office once a week for our
Yeah.
weekly staff meeting, and you know, usually, you know, points out all the things I need to be doing better.
Yes, yes.
She gives everybody else compliments, but I'm the one that needs to do everything
But
better.
you know what, though? You just have a great relationship. I can
do.
see this.
Yeah,
and
we do.
I think because of that great relationship with your mom, you really have a special interest in the seniors. You know, it's the menu of what you're going to serve on Monday through Sunday, I guess it is, the special. And the seniors really count on that because it's good food, it's served hot. So when you go to any Gerrity's and you look at the deli counter there, you'll see a line of seniors. And I'm so proud of that, how you do that. And then, of course, you have the Tuesday is 5% off Senior Day.
Well, sure. You know, we understand that a larger percentage of the population in northeastern Pennsylvania are senior citizens.
How beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. And so we make sure that we cater to them. We make
Yes.
sure that we have smaller packages as much as we possibly can. Our dinners of the day, we try to
Yes.
keep them very reasonably
Yes.
priced. You know, they're made, you know, in the store. They're made fresh.
Yes.
And we know, especially, you know, when it comes to somebody who might be living alone, or even if you're living with a spouse, sometimes it's hard to cook for just one or two
Well,
people.
that's it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
so
it.
we do keep that in mind.
Yes, so many seniors really do appreciate that. You're hiring seniors. I see seniors, you know, at the cash registers, and so as a senior, I thank you for that.
Well, there's no thanks necessary. I thank the seniors who work for us because, you know, look, they have life experience.
Yes.
They are mature.
Yes.
They're reliable.
Yes.
They know how to handle people and treat people. So anytime we see an application come through from a senior citizen, I mean, you know, that is certainly something we get excited about.
I also noticed that not only seniors, but you're kind of an equal opportunity. I'm seeing more, you know, Latinos, more Asians, some with disabilities that you'll give a chance to work. But it's interesting how you're reaching out.
Yeah, and to me, it's just about finding the best
Yes.
people.
Yes.
I just want to find somebody who's going to take care of our customer.
Yes.
That's really all I care
It's
about.
a beautiful thing. How many employees do you have?
We have 1,300 employees across our
Wow.
10 supermarkets and about another 150 in the Ace Hardware stores. Over 1,400.
On behalf of Lackawanna County, thank you for the job that you've provided all of these years. The other interesting thing, I love your bakery.
Thank you.
And all of that is done on site. Is it the baking of the
We do more in store than
In-store,
anybody
rather.
else. We do more in store than anybody
Yes.
else. Whether it's from scratch or from a mix, or it's fresh baked, we do more in store than anyone.
Yes.
Yep.
So what time do the bakers come? Or maybe we shouldn't say.
Oh, no. Well, that is true. But no, they start very early in the morning, let's
Yes.
say. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
And it's always good.
Very
It's
early.
always fresh. It's always seasonal. And
Our breads and rolls, our Italian bread, our Kaiser rolls, they're all made every day, fresh from scratch,
Yes.
To our recipe. And then at the end of the day, they're all pulled off, and we either dry them for breadcrumbs, or
Yes.
we make them into garlic bread, or we give them to area soup kitchens and food
isn't
banks.
that beautiful? I knew you were going to say that. You know, the other thing in the store is when you go to stores, there's so many people you employ, but everybody knows what their job is. You know, the ones that are stacking the shelves, and the ones that are the cash registers, and the ones slicing the cold cuts, and the ones, checking the products, I guess for the last date of, but they,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
this is hard work.
It's not rocket science, but it is work that requires a lot of conscientious attention.
Yes.
It's work that can be heavy and,
Yes.
and physical. But I give all the credit in the world to the people that I have working around me, from my HR people to my operations
Yes.
people to my financial people.
Right.
You know, it's a great team of people who care about our company and care about our customers, and they come to work every day and they do the best they can.
Yes. There was a good friend of mine, Anna Corcoran, that
Oh,
used to.
we love Anna.
Yes, that we were playing bridge and we were talking about Gerrity's. She said that Gerrity's treat their employees well. And you know, the employee, I was thrilled when you were off on Easter, that the stores were
Yep.
closed,
Yep.
and I thought, that's pretty terrific.
You know, we're closed on Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas Day.
Yes.
And, you know, that'll never change as long as I'm at the helm of the company because, frankly, I don't want to work on those days.
No.
So I'm not going to ask my people to work on those days. You know, it's funny, when my wife and I first started dating and got married, my wife was in sales all her life. So typically, of course, they have the weekends off and the
Yes.
holidays. And a lot of times you're off between New Year's and Christmas. And the first Thanksgiving started to come around, and she said, well, I'd like to go visit my sister. And she lived in Florida at the time.
Yeah.
And I said, okay. I said, I'll miss you for Thanksgiving. And
Yes.
she said, what do you mean? I said, I can't travel. I can't travel for Thanksgiving.
Yes.
None of my people can. I can't either. It's so important to put your people first because the only way they'll put your customer first is if they know that you care about them.
Yes, and you can see that in the store. They'll say, did you find everything okay?
Perfect,
Or if
great.
I'm a short person, can you get the bag of rigatoni off the top shelf? Can you walk us through just a regular day in the life of Joe Fasula?
I love my business. I always tell people I love people and I love food. And the grocery business and even the hardware business brings that together because in the hardware business we sell grills.
Yes.
And that is my favorite thing to sell
Yes.
in the hardware business. But so an average day for me is get up and put the dogs out.
Yes, of course.
See my daughter off to school. And then, I generally have a plan for the day, and there's usually a few meetings in there, and those meetings could be anything about either, facility maintenance or operations or financial or human resources. I try to spend some of my week out in the stores. Unfortunately, it seems like it's less and less because that's really where I enjoy my
Yes.
job.
I saw you once bagging.
Yes, yes.
You had the green tie on, and I thought, this is the fellow that's in the newspaper. So of course, and I mentioned about someday I might have a television show.
You did.
And you're
And
so
here I am.
kind. Yes, and here you are, and I'm blessed. I'm blessed, and I want to thank you for making time. I know you have a very important engagement right after
do,
this.
yeah.
In parting, is there any advice you would give to someone that is thinking of opening a business? If somebody right off the top said, hey, what do I have to remember to be successful in business?
Well, if it's a business where you're going to need people, that makes things a lot more complicated.
Okay.
So if you've decided that you're going to do that, and that's typically it could be a restaurant or some sort of retail operation, you're going to need people, and you're going to need to make sure that you pay them well and pay them fairly.
And respect them.
And respect them, exactly. But you have to balance that against your overall business health.
Yes.
And those two things are oftentimes not coinciding with one another. So more than anything, when you go into it, you want to make sure that you are financed properly. I think that's the thing that a lot of people forget
That's
is
right.
to make sure that they have enough money to get off the ground because there's going to be unexpected
Lot of
expenses. There's going to be a
upstart.
lot of problems with the upstart, and then you got to build the business. And while you're building the business, there's going to be money going out the door
Yes.
before any money starts coming in.
Right. Well, you're a credit to Lackawanna County, and
You're
I
too
want to
kind.
end
Thank you.
telling you that after this, I'm going to Gerrity's. But thank you for all you've done. The employees that you have hired and the stores that you've opened, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much.
Well, it's my pleasure, and from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate the business and the support that our community gives to us.
Well, it's beautiful. All right, now get to that game.
I will.
And
I'm
I have
going.
my paws crossed that they win. So,
Oh, don't cross them too hard.
all right. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me.